You know what I love with the minion builds though in PoE? Is I can literally just eat something. And everything is just kind of like dead. So I love minion builds so much in PoE. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be kind of a part 2 or a continuation, kind of showing a build progress of our NecroMancer in this league for ArchNemesis. I also want to give a few like pointers and tips to like kind of in terms of gearing what we have done with this build. So sometimes for PoE I do like these entire full playthroughs. For this build in particular for ArchNemesis, I did part 1 to show you guys kind of an intro to PoE and kind of show you guys the new mechanic, but I basically already played a variant of this before. So if you guys do want to go and check out like the first part of the ArchNemesis to kind of get you guys started with this build, there will be a link over in the pinned comment. But I wanted to give you guys kind of an update to the kind of the progress on this build and kind of answer the question, is this build good? So far, yes, we have just reached early maps and we are absolutely shredding content. The thing is that I will be testing some stuff that is completely new to the game that really doesn't have very much info on it. It has to do with these gloves that have this new application called Corrosion on hit with attacks. So what it comes down to is we are playing a minion build and we ourselves do 0 damage, but we still want to hit the enemy to make them have negative or 0 armor. So our first goal is to get these gloves, and I also want to show you guys kind of some progressions on gear. Some of you guys came into the live stream and were wondering like, hey, when is part 2 coming out? I guess this is kind of part 2 to our PoE ArchNemesis playthrough, but it's more so a progression on the build versus like this is now in Act 2 because I already uploaded it. That's in the pinned comment of the very first video of like the walkthrough guide. But nonetheless, this is kind of what I would suggest for other players that are interested in playing a very similar build, and you will be able to completely dominate content. So the first thing that you really want to try to do is try to get a 4 or a 5 link early on. With this league being very good for currency, you can spend 1 or 2 chaos orbs early on. You'll be able to get these too, and you could buy like the 1,000 ribbons. You can get any just armor that you can actually equip, because keep in mind you're gonna have to be low level and wanting to use it at the very beginning of the game to get max value. But anything with a 5 link will be really good in the very beginning. And again, this league in particular, you can get these very cheap because there's a bunch of uniques that will just drop. So you can get a 5 link again very cheap, or even tabula rasa is relatively cheap as well. So first off, in terms of what you can get earlier on in the game, any weapon in the very beginning doesn't really matter too much. Just something that would give you like maybe plus some minion damage or additional cast speed can be nice. But at level 27, I picked this up and I ran this basically up until I got this, which was a really cheap item as well. This item only costed me a few chaos orbs and it was a 5 link. But pretty much I use this throughout the entirety of my playthrough, which is Queen's Decree. It's a relatively cheap item as well. Paid like a couple alks for this, so very cheap. This item over here, I use this pretty much throughout my entirety of the duration. It's just because it had the links. It was just a 4 link item that I was using. I was using zombies as well as skeletons for most of my gameplay. And then I was also using the Baron. It was another really cheap item. It was like 1 alchemy, and it just gives me extra socket level of minion gems. Also, if you happen to get a 4 link one, which you can probably get right now for like an alk or 2 that's completely linked, it could be kind of nice too, because then you can get increased level of socketed minion gems that will significantly increase your damage. And then I was using the Bones of Oro. This will just grant us extra level of raised zombies as well as spectre gems. It does say required level 42, but that's actually because of the enchantment, I believe. And then we were running these gloves at one point after, I think, these, because I ended up getting something else that I was using, and I no longer needed these for the links. And then for rings, just try to look for extra resistances and or life where you can get them. This is pretty much what I was using up until maps. This I was using really early on. This is another really cheap item because some of you guys wanted some recommendations for items, and so I'm going to kind of give you guys some recommendations. This thing is really cheap as well. It just grants you extra minion damage. And then in terms of the belt, this is what I was running on my belt for most of the gameplay. It was before that, I don't know where the other belt went, but it was basically just something that had a bunch of life on it. I think it had some resistances. But in terms of what we've done with the build, most of the time, in terms of like the campaign playthrough, up and towards like the very end, I didn't really use Ceaseless Feast because I didn't get them. Now, this is a completely new item. What it does, if I hold Alt, you'll see where it says 28, and then it's 20 to 30% chance to inflict corrosion on hit with attacks. Corrosion is minus 5,000 to total armor and minus 1,000 total evasion per corrosion. Corrosion lasts for 4 seconds and it refreshes the duration of existing corrosion. So our goal is to actually hit the enemies and apply that corrosion on them. So we actually want to scale attack speed as well as, I'm not going to be doing any damage really. I'm just applying that so they will have 0 armor, making it so our minions will hit very hard. I will consider also going Skelly Mages. That's a very popular build. It's kind of expensive right now to get that because it does require a specific jewel, and then you also want a very specific armor, but the armor doesn't really need to be rolled super well because you can just run like a whatever 6 link. If you can get even a 5 link femurs, that can be fine, and just get like the armor. It's like I think 10C right now. There's like Flash Crafter, but what it does is it makes it so your minions will ignore elemental resistance, but this is for like a completely different build, which I will actually try as well. I'm just going to see which one's better, because this is new content. The point of me hopping into Path of Exile for a new like season or a new league is always to test out the new things. So this is what we're doing right now. We're not fully built yet, just as a heads up. We are currently level 74, but I'll show you guys the passive tree because a couple of you guys wanted to kind of follow this build. I will warn you guys, this is an untested build. I mean, obviously, yeah, it works well for the campaign. We've done white maps and we're rolling through content. However, I think PoE's real testament is like at the end game bosses versus like just getting the maps and showing gameplay of one-shotting things, because to be honest, most good PoE players can do that and kind of overhype something to make it look good. But like it seems for the campaign, yeah, we absolutely steamrolled it. I'll show you guys the passive tree. We still need to do our last lab, but for the most part, what you want to rush is getting Unnatural Strength first, and then we get Commander of Darkness. And then the last one's going to be Mistress of Sacrifice. For our offerings, we're going to be getting block. We have 0, well, we have, I think, 18% of block now because of femurs. Later down the line, we are actually going to be running something a little bit different. We'll be running a dagger instead of a wand that most people use. The reason why is because I want to do Cyclone with the bone offering, because I don't really like casting things manually. Like my vulnerability, eventually I'm going to get a ring where it makes it so it hits enemies. Well, enemies you hit will be vulnerable on hit with like 20% increased effect or whatever. We'll end up getting that, so I don't have to manually cast this, but I only really use it for bosses anyways. So pretty much what it comes down to here is the tree, just in case any of you guys did want to copy it. I always anoint Death Attunement because I figure it's kind of far away, and the elemental damage for the cluster jewel that eventually we'll get that makes it so minions are immune to taking damage right when they're summoned. Instead of putting it right here, I'm going to opt to put it over here because armor actually does affect our build. Right now I'm not really running anything good for armor, but here's the tree just in case any of you guys did want to copy it. For the masteries, we just got extra increased life. We got regenerate 2% life per second while moving, because we're going to be cycloning the whole time. I might actually drop this. It's just because earlier on during like the playthrough for progression, I really liked getting this recoup. It was really good just because it's able to sustain a lot of stuff for the campaign. I may actually spec out of this. Again, I'm doing a lot of things that are untested over here. Again, we anointed Death Attunement. That's done with an amulet. I just bought this amulet. If you want to buy these can get pretty pricey. You just have to kind of get them at the right time. They can be anywhere from like 5 to 50 Chaos Orbs. It just depends on your luck. This one's actually a pretty decent one. What we're really looking for is just the enchantment of getting Death Attunement on it. Death Attunement isn't super expensive. It does require 1 silver, which is like 20 Chaos Orbs, at least as of right now. The other 2 oils are like 1 C each, so there's like basically free. But you can get a much better amulet. Again, this is our progression, kind of the like not unofficial part 2 of like our NecroMancer build. So that's what we're doing for this. And then in terms of the helm, nothing too special other than +2 level of socketed minion gems. Ideally, we do get 3, but that's going to be way expensive, and I just bought this for a couple chaos. In our helmet, we're running dash as well as second wind, just so I have some mobility. We're running stone golem as well as raised specter in here. Ideally, I wouldn't actually play these in the helmet. I would actually put Carrion Golem in there. Just don't have room right now. In terms of our main source of our damage, it's actually going to be our summoned skeletons as well as our zombies. So we're running Femur of the Saint because it gives +2 and it grants us extra minion damage. The rest of the stats, it doesn't really matter too much, to be honest. It actually gives us some block chance, so that's cool. But we've got Brutality, Raised Zombie. We've got minion damage, melee physical damage, as well as minion speed. And then I'm running Skitterbots. And then we've got melee physical damage, minion damage, summon skeletons, Vol summon skeletons to be exact, because it's way better for bossing, and then minion speed, and then feeding frenzy, because this just applies the buff to us, and then it applies it to our character, so then they basically kind of have it as well, which is really nice. And then we've got summon carrion golem. And in terms of the ring, just ring with resistances, life, pretty much the same thing on the other ring. And then Ceaseless Feast, this is kind of like why I wanted to play this build. I might drop this completely if it sucks, because again, the whole testament is to test how good it is at the end game, when things that are, you know, a lot higher level have 0 armor. How do things behave? We're also reducing their evasion rating, so that's kind of cool too. So it makes it easier for your minions to hit, because minion accuracy is actually a pretty important thing. It's kind of weird in this game to kind of calculate those kinds of things, and there's a lot of things with the Ceaseless Feast that I'm wondering if they work on certain mechanics like Impale. If anyone knows, please let me know in the comments. Does Impale work with Corrosion? Because again, this is a completely new mechanic. There's just not very much information on this as right now. I'll probably have to do some extensive testing. And the thing that makes it hard is it's a percent chance to inflict the Corrosion, and then it has a duration that we have to like have for the window. So if anyone knows, that'd be awesome. But yeah, Ceaseless Feast, excellent piece of armor. It gives you a decent amount of armor too. The rest of the stats literally don't matter on it, other than it gives us armor. And then we also gain a frenzy and endurance charge when we hit an enemy with no armor or evasion rating. That's actually kind of nice, considering attack speed does actually help the build. And then we're running just a belt with life, and then the gems in here, we're running vulnerability, pride, seal skin, as well as cast when damage taken. Eventually we're going to be running a cast when damage taken level 1, as well as a Immortal Call level 3, and that way I can activate this as much as possible, so I can get a bonus 600 armor, because I have another point into one of the guard skills over here, Armor Mastery. And in terms of the flask, just immune to chill freeze, immune to corrupted blood, reduce effective curses, ideally remove curses, but we've got extra charges, nothing too special here, really. And in terms of other things to mention, more masteries, I actually showed off the life mastery ones, so we did that. And then eventually, the things that are important with this build, and we still aren't at the final end game yet. We're not even close. We still need to get another lab done. We need to do spiritual command, because that's going to be all of the minion attack speed will apply to us. So the faster that we attack is going to apply more chances of that corrosion. And it's very common that you can literally hit a person once or twice and you'll start getting those charges, which means they actually have no armor, which is great. Again, this is mostly for bosses where it matters, but I also want the minions to play a lot more aggressive. We're eventually going to get these boots called the Stampede to go way faster, because right now it's a little bit slow for my liking. It's still like a fast build, but it could be way faster, which is what I want to do. So yeah, we definitely need to get this. Other important things, we will be getting glancing blows. Again, if you want to copy this, feel free to, but I'm going to warn you, it's experimental. There's a lot of things that I'm unaware of right now. We got minion accuracy over here, again, just so the minions can always hit. We got a jewel that just has corrupted blood can't be inflicted on you. It gives us some resistances, minion life. That's really it though. And then we got block attack damage with dual wielding, which we will actually do later down the line for more damage. A lot of people are opting to put a shield in, and then they're getting like base percent like ES or life recovery when you do block, and we're going to be getting glancing blows with bone offering, which is what we're doing on this, because we need to get this in order for bone offering to actually matter. So we'll be getting that. And another very important thing to get is resolute technique. So this makes so we can't crit, but we deal 0 damage anyways. It doesn't matter. It's just our hits can't be evaded, so we always hit, so it's really easy. Let's see, on the offense, yeah, okay, it shows right here. We have 100% chance to hit, so we don't need to get any accuracy at all for ourselves. Yeah, there's really nothing else to mention, I think, that is important as of right now, but I just wanted to show you guys the tree, just in case any of you guys wanted to build it. What I pretty much did was, I showed off this in our part 1. We just pretty much rushed to grab this, and then we can go over here to get this recoup. I actually really like this for like leveling. It was a really nice thing to have this, so I will probably get this every single time for leveling. I may spec out of this whole like recuperate life and just get a huge massive amount of life pool, because then we can do some like life on hit, since we always hit, and we're gonna be attacking super fast. Gonna be scaling attack speed, specifically minion attack speed, because that helps our minions and it helps us, because we're gonna be applying basically so much minus 5,000 armor. So what's interesting with this, it says minus 5,000 to total armor and 1,000 to total evasion rating per corrosion. I don't know what the max amount of stacks of corrosion is. It lasts 4 seconds, but it refreshes the durations of existing corrosions on it. So again, can this stack infinitely? Is there a limit? But I mean, if they have 0, I don't believe you can go further than that, as in every time you hit after 0, are they going to have negative 5,000 armor? That would be kind of insane. But again, corrosion's completely new. There's like really no info on it. But yeah, we'll be getting that, and pretty much just getting glancing blows like the last like big thing after getting this, and then getting just more minion attack speed. We could actually go for the Scion life wheel over here, so massive amount of extra life. Hopefully we'll be like 6-7k life at the very end of it, like once I respec out of like the weird like recoup and other things that may not be necessary. Like I ended up getting Golem Commander just because I wanted to have that extra fizz damage. But when we go into Skelly Mages, eventually, I'm going to see which one is actually better. Obviously, Skelly Mages will probably be more expensive. This item, by the way, if you guys are wondering right now, it's anywhere from 5 to 10 Chaos Orbs. Super cheap. Sometimes, like, I really wanted to get Stasis Prison. That was last league, but yeah, that's like, I don't know exactly how much that item is because there's such a low scarce amount. It's like mirror expensiveness, at least last time I checked to get that. So this is kind of cool that we can get a new item for the league that has a pretty insane effect if you think about it. That's completely like no armor, because like for example we can overwhelm 20% of physical damage around it. That's a pretty big node normally, to just get like 20% pen of like physical. But if they have 0 armor, like actually 0, 5,000 per hit, and if you're hitting like really fast, I mean it's good. And plus what I really want to do is just get those free endurance charters, and then that way I'm gonna have level 1 Immortal Call. Yeah, with cast when damage taken, and it's basically just going to give me free extra duration on it. That's the whole plan and the goal right now, but I need to like re-optimize these gems. I want cast when damage taken, Immortal Call, increased duration, and I want a lot of things, and I was even thinking about getting a War Cry. We got a lot of things to do, but yeah, that's just going to be like a brief little update in terms of like the build and like what I've gone with it, and it's pretty good so far. I'm really enjoying it. I don't really think there's anything else to mention with this build. But anyways, if there's any questions on this build, definitely let me know. And like I said, if you guys want a full walkthrough, playthrough of at least like the first hour, it's like an hour and something of like the campaign with this exact build that I use, we are demolishing content. I mean, I have so many clips. I mean, I should just play another clip right here. I was thinking about just recording these just because it's really fun. Let me go show you guys this one over here with the Act 9 boss. Like, check this out. This is ridiculous. Like, this is the Act, was this Act 9 boss? And, I mean, I'm not even doing anything. I'm just chilling in the back, and I'm literally just holding still.
NecroMancer is most chill class in the game.
Look at this. I mean, this is a boss in the game, and I'm not even applying any of the corrosion or anything. And dude, yeah, this build is really fun to play. Like you said, it's awesome so far, and it's only going to be getting better from here. But we're going to have to test it on the very final bosses to get the real picture of it, because I don't want to give you guys like just overhyped gameplay, and it won't deliver on the final bosses. But the build's looking pretty good. Anyways, thanks for tuning, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it, and if you're new here and you want to see more Path of Exile stuff or update to our like NecroMancer build for ArchNemesis, subscribe to the bell, and you see more very soon. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.